What's going on, Red Sox Nation? This is Sox Vlogs. I'm your host, Mark Chikaris. It is brought to you by Guy Boston Sports over at GuyBostonSports.com. Check us out. We get the fresh gear. Promo code Chikaris10 for 10% off. That's CHEKARES 10. Got hats. We get t-shirts. Baseball season's around the corner. We get some fresh gear, damage done stuff. Bat flip stuff. We got all sorts of good stuff over at Guy Boston Sports. Breaking news. It was just announced, I don't know, maybe an hour or two ago, if that, that Chris Sale will be receiving a 5-year, $150 million contract extension. So that will bring us up to 2023, I believe, if you're counting 2019. I think that whole contract is, I haven't looked into the details of it. Nothing's finalized yet. But I think they're sort of restructuring for this year. Texting with Guy Boston Sports, my buddies over there and other Red Sox writers. I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I said, yeah, you know what? I think for Chris Sale, what's fair? 5 years, $150 million. And it was a general consensus. Some people wanted maybe 4 years, maybe a little bit less annual salary. But Sale does get 5 years, 150. Just saying. So just a couple of thoughts on the contract. I have all his some of the parameters of it and just some other information on Chris Sale's contract, current contract, the contracts he's had in the past, and whether or not I like this contract in the long run. And I'll get to all that stuff. I also want to tie this into Mookie Betts a little bit, although I have a whole nother Mookie vlog planned for this weekend, so I might tease that. So the Red Sox gave Chris Sale $150 million 5-year extension. I personally think Dave Dombrowski kind of had to do this deal, because looking at the Red Sox talent in the minor league system, they have a couple of relievers that look like they could be studs. I mean, they have Jay Groom, who's a starting pitcher, but he's still young and he's been hurt. You have the Feltman kid down there, who's a relief pitcher. And really, the only starting pitcher that is really showing any promise right now might be in the Red Sox bullpen this year, which is Darwinzon Hernandez. I expect him to make the team, actually. And I hope he does, because obviously the Red Sox need bullpen help. But they really don't have a lot coming down the line as of right now, as far as their starting pitching goes. So I think ultimately Dave Dombrowski had to pull the trigger on this extension. And really, any of the guys who are willing to be extended, I think he's going to listen to. Maybe not Porcello. I think Porcello, this will be his last year. I think they're going to allocate those funds elsewhere. But if you look at it now, so you have Nathan Eovaldi, who we hope is going to be the type of guy that we saw last year pitching for the Red Sox. And, of course, in the postseason, he was clutch. And you still have David Price, and you got Chris Sale now. So, your rotation's pretty much, you got 3 guys that can play and can bring it for the next couple of years. So that's good. That's a good thing. Chris Sale's prior contracts, he signed. The guy loves extensions, and I think that might be something that might worry you as a Red Sox fan, or us as Red Sox fans, because he signed a $32 million 5-year contract in 2013. That's the one that's up this year. After going, I think he went year to year. He made $850,000 his first year, and then he signed two $1 million sort of contracts, or that was what he got paid initially. So the reason why I say he likes extensions, and that kind of worries me a little bit, is because of his frame, guys. I'm sorry, his frame and his fragility. The guy is mesmerizing to watch when he is healthy, and really when he's pitching in the first half of the season. So just real quick, Chris Sale splits. For For his career, the first half of the season, he's 69 and 26. Somewhere Gronka's smiling. 266 ERA, 0.963 WHIP, and of course those are Cy Young numbers. Those are ace numbers. But when you look at his second half splits, they're still good, but they become a little bit more pedestrian, especially the win-loss totals. Now, we'll get to that in a second. But second half, he's 34 and 36, so he's under 500. Now, listen, he did play for the White Sox, and they stink. So that definitely has something to do with it. But the ERA jumps almost a full run. So from 266, he goes to 326 ERA. You don't really want to see that. And his WHIP increases from 0.963 to 1.121. All right. Okay, that's fine. He does have his highest batting average against in September, which is kind of worrisome, which is 258. That's not great. 258 isn't great as far as batting average against goes. So the thing that concerns me the most is for his career. All right, and again, one loss, all that stuff, especially the one loss, him playing for Chicago in his early years, I get it. But first half innings pitched in his career, 855. Second half of his career, 627. All right, so you're looking at basically 200 less innings pitched in the second half, and we saw it last year, guys. He basically didn't pitch. He pitched very little in August and very little in September. I mean, he came in, he had a couple of spot starts. He had that great start against the Orioles where he struck out 12 dudes, and I was like, yeah, Sale's back. And then we never really saw him again until to the playoffs. So, I mean, that's something that concerns me. Although I do think it's a good deal. It's not this, it's not $400 million. It's not Bryce Harper, right? It's not Manny Machado, right? And he is a pitcher, so that's important. But really, this rests on the shoulders, pun kind of intended, of the Red Sox. And Dave Dombrowski, Alex Cora, and the Red Sox training and medical staffs, they have to figure out now how to delegate his innings. And they have to make sure that he's staying fresh throughout the course of a full season. So if he has to miss a start in April or in May, and a guy like Brian Johnson or Hector Velasquez or even Darwinzon Hernandez, if they get to step in for a game, I mean, then they get to step in for a game. They got to figure out how to get this guy through a full season, if you ask me. So I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are on the contract. Let me know what you think the Red Sox did, about what the Red Sox did. Just real quick, this does affect the signing of Mookie Betts, and it should. The Red Sox have a lot of contracts coming up soon, and they got to make some decisions. And this was the first one, really, the first chip to fall. And they get a couple others that they got to think about too. Obviously, Mookie Betts coming up after next year. Xander Bogaerts after this year. We'll see what happens with that. Andrew Benintendi, I saw something today that said he was open to a contract extension. So let's see how Dombrowski plays this. Coming up tomorrow, I will have a vlog on the the recent stuff with the big contracts, and there's been a ton of microphones in Mookie Betts' face as he fields questions on whether he wants to extend his time with the Red Sox, and we'll talk about that as well tomorrow. Should be flooding your airways with vlogs this weekend because opening day's coming up soon. All right, so that's it for your March 22nd episode of Sox Vlogs. I'm Mark Chikaris. It is brought to you by Guy Boston Sports at GuyBostonSports.com, and we will see you next time. Peace.